you're watching Editor's Take on Money Control. I'm Sakshi Batra, and with me is Bhupendra Chaubey, Executive Editor of CNN News 18. Well, over 50,000 Indian Americans are getting ready to say Howdy Modi on September 22nd at the Houston, Texas rally. And Bhupendra is going to be covering that as well for CNN and the whole Network 18 as well. And we will get you live updates from that as well. But before that, thanks a lot, Bhupendra, for joining in. And first of all, I want to understand from you, we have seen in the past, in 2014, Madison Square Garden, what happened there. We also saw what happened at the Silicon Valley in California in 2016. We've also witnessed, what happened at the Wembley Stadium in London. This is going to be the fourth biggest event, or probably the largest event of those. So what kind of spectacle are you really, expecting over there?
Well, already if you look at the videos which are being put out by the Indo-Texas associations, they're building it as the biggest event ever held in the history of Texas, in the history of Houston as far as politics is concerned. The stadium which has been worked out where Prime Minister Modi is going to be addressing the Indian American community, and guess what? A reception where the US President has decided to drop in. It's supposed to be the biggest congregation of Indians, Americans. You have the top US lawmakers who are all going to go there. I'm told that pretty much anyone and everyone who is interested in the Indo-America story has decided to be there at this ground in Houston on Sunday. So I expect it to be a mega spectacle. This is very much like what you perhaps would have seen when the US presidential elections take place. This is Modi and Trump coming together. I don't think in Indian politics we've ever seen anything as big, as dramatic as this.
So 50 to 60,000 Indian Americans probably chanting Modi, and Trump and Modi actually sharing the stage, coming together to address such a large, huge crowd. Does this also signify the strength of the relationship they actually share?
It reminds me of the Melbourne cricket ground. And Prime Minister Modi, who does follow cricket, while Donald Trump perhaps follows baseball. But the overall strength of the Melbourne Cricket Stadium for a World Cup final was 1.2 lakh people. But do you know how many people were actually watching that match, the finals, in which there was expectation that India will make it there? People had put up screens outside the stadium. So it ended up almost 1 million people who had teamed up, who had turned up at various places around the garden, around the stadium to somehow get a glimpse of that match. I suspect something similar is going to happen at this stadium in Houston as well. I'm being told by the organizers that all hotels around the stadium are now booked. There are life-size stadiums, life-size screens which have all been put up. This event which will play out in the stadium is going to be simulcast across all these big screens. Add to that the excitement in India. It's a Sunday. In Super Bowl parlance, it's a Super Bowl Sunday. I think this is a Super Modi Sunday that we're in for.
Absolutely. So not just India and America that will be watching. I'm sure the world will be watching what happens at this event as well. So I really want to ask you as well, can this be really seen as the high point of Indian diplomacy as well? Is this a diplomatic achievement that we have been able to manage to pull together?
Often we use the phrase high noon of Indian diplomacy. I think that this is the highest pinnacle of Indian democracy. Just go back in time and think about it from 1947 onwards. It is true that President Barack Obama did come to India, and it is true that he did share stage with Manmohan Singh. It is true that that Manmohan Singh, when George Bush was the president, he went and he said that India loves you, President Bush, when we wanted the nuclear deal. Barack Obama has often spoken very warmly about Manmohan Singh, about how much he has learned from him. But this kind of a scenario where when the Indian Prime Minister is in America for a public function, for the US President to decide to go there, for all top Republicans, for all top Democrats, the senior most Democratic leader has decided to now be a part of this event. It just shows that the Americans are putting a high premium on a good relationship with India. In my mind, I haven't seen anything as big, as dramatic as this. And I think somewhere there's also realization that as different parts of the world try to struggle with economic depression in their own ways, the faith, the belief in Modi to deal with the Indian economic story is at its peak as far as American lawmakers are concerned.
Absolutely. And for Trump also, do you think this massive crowd that is going to be there at 50, 60,000 people who he will be addressing as well, is Trump really aiming to, bank on the massive vote bank of Indians? And does this Houston rally also suggest that Indian support is also, very, very important?
You keep talking about 50 to 60,000. Let me give you a contemporary example. Our sister channel, CNBC TV 18, which is a TV channel, and Moneycontrol, your website, which is such a phenomenal website. I think that your viewership is at least 10 times more than CNBC TV 18. I think that what we will see and that's one of the reasons why Donald Trump has decided to go there, is Trump is not just targeting this 50,000, 60,000 people on the ground in the stadium.
Yeah.
Trump knows that when he goes, and with the sizable presence, the euphoria which is being built up for the Indian caucus there, he's eyeing the Indian community across America. Houston, of course, phenomenally dominated. If you go to Capitol Hill in DC, there are a lot of very prominent Indian origin people who are now becoming very, very critical as far as American diplomacy is concerned. As America gets into election gear, Trump realizes that here is a big opportunity for him. And that's also the reason why. On the other side, the Democratic leaders, they've also decided to jump into the race. It just tells you, and it makes your heart full of pride, swell with pride, when you see that Americans today are dependent on Indian citizens, on Indian political leaders to get hold of their own political interests.
And this is going to be extremely important for him right ahead of the US elections as well, 2020. Probably this is going to be a major area where he will be probably just pleasing the Indian community across US, just like how you said as well, to get that vote.
You know, it was Barack Obama who, when he came to India post the Mumbai strikes, he said that whenever the American president travels, he also has business on his mind. I think President Trump, who is a self-acknowledged and self-confessed businessman, he realizes that if he needs to make some big ticket, say, economic announcements, he requires the support of the Indian lawmakers. To that extent, look at the kind of flashpoints which have existed on the import duty on Harley Davidson, for instance. He's been asking the Prime Minister to deal with it. Whether it is the import duty which has been levied on several other American goods. He's very keen that import duty is also, dairy products, etc., also gets reduced. All in all, it appears that Donald Trump is convinced that a good business relationship with India will only further his own domestic political interests in America. And I think Prime Minister Modi, who also is the former Chief Minister of Gujarat, so certainly knows a thing or two about doing business. The relationship between these two leaders, both of whom focused on business, I think is what is bringing the two countries together, and it only bodes very well for us.
Absolutely. So talk a little bit about the event. What can we expect from that event? We obviously are waiting to hear as to what Prime Minister Modi has to say, what President Donald Trump has to say. So there will be speeches. Prime Minister Modi is known to give long speeches. Can we also expect Donald Trump to give a longer speech, because he himself, he's an egoistic man. You have to understand that. So, just to be able to just sit and listen to Prime Minister Modi, he's probably...
I think that President Trump is also a performer, and he's very quick in figuring out what is it that the audience expects out of him. I have a sneaky suspicion that what may happen is that Prime Minister Modi, of course, will speak about Howdy Houston, could be his opening lines. But I think when President Trump speaks, I want to see whether President Trump decides to switch into Hindi. He may well decide to maybe start his address at least with Hindi. The beer hug between President Trump and Narendra Modi, I think, will certainly be a moment to watch out for. I'm told that there is going to be a surprise performance from one of the biggest rock stars. Who that rock star is going to be there, we don't yet know. But I'm told it's pretty much the biggest event which has been organized in the political history of Houston in recent times.
Right. So lastly, Bhupendra, I want to understand from you, White House issued a statement saying that will be not just important for strengthening of the Indo-US ties, but also of the energy and trade relationships as well. So apart from the event also, if you could expound upon what will be the opportunities that Prime Minister Modi will have to engage with Donald Trump, what will be the issues of concern, and what will be very, very important in their discussions as well?
I think that the two leaders are going to spend a lot of time together. There is also possibility of a separate bilateral meeting being organized between the two in White House, maybe post President Trump's address to the UNGA on the 24th, because Prime Minister Modi is in New York between 23rd till the 27th. 27th is when his address is there at the UNGA. And just after him, there is Imran Khan. Narendra Modi is going to America to ensure that he has the world community's support as far as his Kashmir overtures and Article 370 abrogation is concerned. What does America want in return for this support? America wants India to commit itself to support on energy, to better business ties between the two countries. There is a CEO roundtable which has been organized, where I'm told the big daddies of American corporate world are going to be there in Houston. In America, in New York, he's going to be felicitated by the Bill Gates Foundation, where again, I'm told that Prime Minister Modi will be rubbing shoulders with the who's who of American businesses. And finally, when it comes to business trade with Donald Trump, I think Trump is looking for better relations, better energy relations. Maybe he wants India to import more oil from America. How will India answer that question? I think that's something which is a challenge for Prime Minister Modi.
Absolutely. We'll have to watch out for that as well. Thanks a lot, Bhupendra, for joining in, and we will be looking forward to receiving all the live updates from you from the US, as well as so all the Moneycontrol viewers can also benefit from all of those live updates as well. Thanks a lot for watching this edition of Editor's Take, and do stay logged on to moneycontrol.com for more news and updates. Thanks for watching.